Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video, I'm going to be doing a review of the soundtrack to the 1986 movie Trick or Treat. No, not the Trick or Treat from 2009. That's a completely different movie. Talking about this Trick or Treat, Trick or Treat, not Trick or Treat. It was a movie, again, released in 1986. And it's a horror movie. It's a horror movie, but also a sort of a metal movie. Um, there you go. But yeah, so the soundtrack was released originally on vinyl the same year in 1986, and then released on CD in 1987. Now, the soundtrack is not like most soundtracks you think of nowadays in movies, where it's like songs from like multiple different bands. This soundtrack was comprised of songs from one band, and the band is called Fastway. There's their logo down there, Fastway, and this is technically both the soundtrack to the movie Trick or Treat and Fastway's fourth album. Um, but yeah, so the songs. So the first track is the title of the movie, Trick or Treat. This song, the song Trick or Treat, is so good. It's super, super catchy. Oh yeah, and as I go through these different tracks, I'll tell you which points they are in the movie, because every single one of these tracks appears in the movie. Um, It's weird that they have this as the first track on the soundtrack, because this song doesn't really pop up in the movie until kind of almost more than halfway through the movie. Um, but yeah, it's kind of where the character of Sammy Kerr, the ghost of Sammy Kerr, sort of uh, um, goes to the like he sort of appears in the characters in the main character's like high school, and sort of uh, chokes out the actual singer that's singing at the party, and then like he pops up and then he just starts singing the song Trick or Treat. But yeah, the song Trick or Treat's really good. It's actually really short too. It's only like 2 minutes long. But it's really good, really catchy. I absolutely love it. Also, like the way the singer, not Sammy Kerr, the character, but like whoever's actually singing on the song, the actual singer, um, the way he sings, like I especially love the way he sings that, like sort of that one section, the chorus of rock and roll. What was it again? Oh yes, rock and roll, rocking after midnight, steal your soul. Like the way he actually delivers those lines in the song is actually probably the thing that makes the song catchy. Like just the way he delivers those lines in the chorus is the hook. It really like makes the song super catchy. Along with the guitar riff and everything. But it's just that chorus is just so good. Um. Anyway, track number 2 is After Midnight. Um. I honestly don't remember this song being in the sound. I mean, being in the actual movie itself. And that might be because it was actually featured on a previous Fastway album. Yeah, there are actually 2 songs on here that weren't made for the movie. They were actually taken from previous Fastway albums. Um, so yeah, I don't think that, if I remember correctly, that the song what was it again? Yeah, I don't think the song After Midnight was actually on in the movie. But yeah, After Midnight is pretty good. It's definitely not as good as the first track, Trick or Treat, but it's still really good. Um, anyway, The third track is called "Don't Stop the Fight." Now, this song was in the movie. I completely forgot where it was in the movie because when I'm watching the movie, I'm watching the movie. I'm not really paying attention to the songs other than maybe the title track. Um, but "Don't Stop the Fight's really good. Although it does have a problem with the chorus beat. Like 99% of the lyrics of the song is just the chorus of "Don't stop the fight," and that's pretty much it. And I can see a lot of people say, I don't like the song because it's just the chorus over and over again, and I can kind of see why. And yeah, it does get annoying from time to time, but it's okay. I really like the guitar riff, but yeah, the chorus repeats really hold it back from being a great song, but it's not bad. Um, Track number 4 is "Stand Up." Now, I this one was on the in the movie as well, but again, I completely forgot where it was in the movie. Um, the uh, uh the song is pretty catchy. Not say as catchy as the track "Trick or Treat," but still really good. Um, Track number 5 is "Tear Down the Walls." Now, I do remember when the song was in the movie, where it was in the movie, because it is very I guess, kind of in a way crucial to what was going on in the movie when the song was playing. Basically, in the movie, the main character finds out that his favorite singer passed away. Sammy Kerr. Oh, sorry, Sammy Kerr. Um, so he's kind of pissed off, and he just like goes in this like sort of almost rage mode, and he just starts tearing up everything in his room. He starts like tearing down all his posters, sort of smashing everything with a baseball bat or whatever. Um, and until it comes to the poster of Sammy Kerr, which he sort of he's about to tear it down, but then he hesitates, and then he just doesn't tear it down. But yeah, it's just a great song, and definitely one of the songs that I do actually remember when it was played in the movie. Um, but yeah, awesome song. Uh, Track number 6, "Get Tough." This song is probably the most, even though it's not super sinister sounding, it's definitely the most sinister out of any of these songs. It is definitely, not very sinister at all, but the guitar riff in the beginning and the slight heaviness to it that the rest of the songs don't have make it that little extra sinister sounding. Um, this song, plays in the movie when, the main character, I always forget his name, what's his name again? Eddie. Yeah, so Eddie Weinbauer. Okay, so when Eddie gets bullied, and this is after Eddie gets bullied by these like jocks. He gets home, and he just basically is plotting his revenge, and this is kind of when the song plays. But yeah, it's just a really good song. I love it. Track number 7 is Hold On to the Night." Another song that is definitely in the movie, but I can't remember where it was in the movie. This one is meh. I don't really care for this song. It's just sort of there. Um, Track number 8, "Heft." This is another song, just like with "After Midnight," that is not part of the actual, like, it wasn't originally made for the soundtrack. It was actually on a previous Fastway album. This one is kind of forgettable, really. Like, it's just there to fill space and like pad out the runtime. Um, Kind of with also with "Hold On to the Night" like that. It's just there to pad out the runtime. But yeah, it's kind of forgettable. Uh, Track number 9, the last track. "If You Could See." This one's very different from the rest of the songs on here. It is a very slow, sort of somber song. It's actually the song that plays during the end titles of the movie. Sorry, the end credits of the movie. It's really good. I love it. I love that it's very different from the rest of the songs. It has a really beautiful guitar solo too. But yeah, so that's about it for the songs. The artwork. The artwork is pretty much just the poster from the movie, the original poster. As you can see, there's a I almost said Draculantern. Sorry, Jack-o'-lantern. That's zoomed in on the face, and then of course the superimposed onto it is the character of Sammy Kerr, the or I should say the ghost of Sammy Kerr, who is the main antagonist of the movie. And then the Trick or Treat logo up there. The artwork is pretty good. I love how they just basically, yeah, I don't really, think it's an amazing artwork, but I do like how they basically just use the poster from the movie. And then the back is nothing special. Now, I didn't mention the band members mainly because. Oh wait, yeah, there they are. Okay, sorry. On guitar is Fast Eddie and Shane. Wait, sorry, Fast Eddie and Shane Carroll. On bass is Paul Reed. Drums is Alan Connor, and vocals is Dave King. Alright, so the strangest thing about this soundtrack is that the songs don't have a lyric sheet. Like, you would think that they, like, because it is an official album, as well as being the soundtrack to a movie, you would think there would be songs. Like, yeah, usually there aren't songs on a soundtrack. I'm sorry, there usually aren't lyrics on a soundtrack just because they're basically songs taken from other bands. But with this one, you would think that there would be an exception, considering that every single song on here is from the same band, and the band actually commissioned the soundtrack instead of just the studio doing so. And instead of the movie company doing so. But no, this isn't even. This is just sort of like a weird sort of booklet thing that just has the credits. There isn't any lyrics on here for some reason. And another thing to mention is, one thing that really, and I'll actually mention it after my rating, actually, because I do have a sort of a little bit of a, thing to say about the actual, like, music. So, overall, I'm gonna give this, I'm probably gonna give it a 7 out of 10. Good music, but as I was just about to say, the music does not actually fit the character of Sammy Kerr that well. Because, like, it is, yes, it's supposed to be the soundtrack to the movie, but it's also supposed to represent the music of Sammy Kerr. Hold on, there we go. But it doesn't represent it that well, considering that this music isn't even really heavy metal. You could kind of say it's more hard rock, whereas the character of Sammy Kerr kind of represents heavy metal and maybe even death metal. Like, yeah, death metal wasn't a thing in '86. It was sort of up and coming in '87. But just just the character of Sammy Kerr, his attitude, his look, and the name of his albums. Like, you don't really get to see any of the albums or hear what they sound like, but they do name drop a few of the albums. I can't remember the names off the top of my head, but, like, if you hear what they say the names of some of these albums are, uh, some of the albums in the movie, the titles of the Sammy Kerr albums sound like titles of death metal albums. Or, death metal wasn't really a thing in '86, so you could kind of say maybe they kind of sound like, yeah, they sound like the death metal albums, but considering the time period, it would be more fitting if they were just, like, very sinister sounding heavy metal albums. Yes, but also, the character of Sammy Kerr, you can't really see it here that well, but if you see the character in the movie, his look and his outfit, he kind of looks like a mix of Alice Cooper and Blackie Lawless. And kind of like the shock rock sort of, like, style like, you kind of see, like, one very brief stage performance in the movie. But just the way he looks and like the way he acts and just the names of his albums really make you think, oh, this dude's, like, he's like, you know, this like his music sounds very sinister, very heavy, almost like very sinister, very heavy, and very evil sounding heavy metal. But then you got the soundtrack that's supposed to represent the Sammy Curt's music. That's basically just hard rock, which again, for some reason, the music that's supposed to represent this character does not fit this character very well. Now, the only reason I could really sort of think of for this as like an explanation is that maybe the movie, like whoever directed the movie, or maybe even the company that or the movie company in general that they were directing, that were that hired the directors and everything to make the movie. Maybe someone in charge was like, "Hey, let's make this for as wide of audience as possible without going too kid friendly or too family friendly. We can't have like super heavy, sinister heavy metal. Let's just put hard rock in here instead and say, oh, this is the music of Sammy Kerr." That's really the only reason I can think of that why the character of Sammy Kerr and what's supposed to be his music is sort of inconsistent with one another and so like polarizing is because even though they have like this guy that kind of seems like he would have like very sinister heavy metal music, comes out as like hard rock, as the music is hard rock, is maybe again probably because they wanted to reach a wider audience, and they knew they couldn't do that with heavy metal, so they just had to go with hard rock instead, and that's why they chose Fastway as the band to make the soundtrack, which is a good thing, to have more people watch your movie. But at the same time, it really does not fit it does not fit the character of Sammy Kerr that well. But yeah, so it's a 7 out of 10 for me. So that's really about it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all next time.